Hi everyone. It has been quite some time since I've done any kind of video or a podcast or anything more than posting a photo on social media or writing anything. And that's because I've been going through my own personal journey, and the past 3 years have been incredibly challenging. And most recently, it's been just a lot of karmic purging of family relationships and downloads of information of the reason why what I now understand to be a 20-year journey with the planet Venus has been so challenging and so difficult for me. And I've been taking a lot of time to rest and to take care of my physical body and to contemplate, what does this all mean for me, my teaching, why I've been so hesitant to teach, because this inability to get on camera, this inability to talk about my personal experience only started when my healing journey started about 2017, 2018. But that's not who I've been in the past. Right? So when we talk about awakening, we do talk about returning home to who you really are. And I don't think I've been this grounded or balanced energetically in my physical body probably ever. But in terms of my masculine energy, which is starting to come back online, certainly haven't seen him since my 20s, when I was thriving in graduate school and my psychology training. And so I've had to sit with my journey and try to understand everything I've been learning. It has been quite the initiation into the divine feminine energy. And I've, had to come to the conclusion that there was a reason why I've studied everything and anything related to relationships, everything and anything related to love. It's because my ancestral and spiritual lineage is tied to the planet Venus. And that's the journey I've been on and had no idea I was on that journey. And the thing I want to use this video today to address that keeps coming up, most recently with some clients bringing it up, and I get nudged about it, is the concept of the twin flame. And this is definitely something that I know I have been on this journey. I know I have been activated. And I cannot tell you exactly who it is or what body this soul is in, but this soul has been with me since I was quite young and has definitely been part of the healing journey to date. And I can say, for those clients that are coming in and feeling like they've fallen so deeply in love with someone and are so enamored with someone and have such a strong sexual connection with someone, what I can say is that you've probably have been activated many times before. But the key differentiation between a karmic or regular love relationship and this level of initiation is that something shifted and you're about to walk a spiritual path. And that is the number one difference. And I think people who end up understanding that they are on a spiritual path connected to the heart or connected to the planet Venus, and whose ancestral lineage comes probably from the lineage of Christianity or in some way connected to the Rose lineage, will understand that this will be part of a great remembering process. So if you are wondering if you're on a twin flame journey, you might have been activated, but the number one thing I look for in the clients that I'm about to work with or to walk them through this process is, did the activation that happened spur your interest in spirituality? Because if we get stuck at the level where we're just so in love with someone and we cannot move forward and we cannot step on the healing path and begin to learn our gifts and to begin to integrate this concept that your soul may be in another body and that you share gifts together and you're here to serve humanity, then there is no point in even having a conversation about whether or not a twin flame exists or not. The whole concept is for healing and the balancing out of masculine and feminine energy so everyone can get onto the path of becoming a humanitarian and beginning to serve the world in a new cycle that's coming starting next year. So we've been in the old cycle where we've been very connected to the material plane, and because of that, our dating and relationships have been very self-serving. So when we've done date coaching or talked about love, we're talking about it from what can I get, what do I need, what am I looking for, how can I make this work in the marriage and babies kind of way. The reason why so many people believe that they have been activated by a twin flame experience in the past 6 to 7 years is because we are preparing for change. We're preparing for the initiation of new spiritual leaders from the next generation. We are preparing for the up-leveling of the need to be in a heart-centered place, to be able to cope with the destruction and the undoing of systems that are not working. So as much as that we are supposed to be here to also heal our physical body, as much as we are supposed to be here to walk our own healing path, those things are simply preparation for those souls that are supposed to be serving with the energy of someone else. And that energy doesn't necessarily need to end up in a romantic relationship. It may transform into something that is more work and partner oriented, but there's an activation, a profound activation that leads you to a place of so much love for the universe and for yourself that you can no longer see the world the same way that you did when you first started this journey. That's a twin flame activation. So when a client comes in and says, I got activated, all of a sudden I learned about Jesus and Mary Magdalene, or all of a sudden I went back to ancient Egypt, or all of a sudden I was in India and I'm having these past life memories and I'm grieving and I'm grieving and I'm grieving. There's been so much loss, so much damage, and the soul keeps coming up. And I've been married to him before, or there's just so much profound love that like I can't even function. Then I start thinking, okay, this may be your path in this lifetime. But when I come in and clients are talking about, well, how can I unify with my twin flame? How can I get my needs met? How can I make this happen faster than it's supposed to? Then I know you're simply just not ready for what is probably the most profound human experience that we can have through a spiritual process that we have no control over, that is scheduled to happen when it's supposed to happen, in the way that it's supposed to happen, whether or not your soul or your mind are really in agreement with what's going on. That is what the twin flame journey is. And I don't even like the term much anymore, other than when I wrote my first book. I used the term in the book because that's what I was familiar with at that time. And I called it in, which is the reason the reason why I've been doing so much healing work, is I called in that level of experience for my soul in this lifetime. I was not ready for it. The activation process made it very abundantly clear that even though I thought I had done enough healing work, I certainly had not done enough healing work. And so what I'm going to say to you, if you're listening to this and that you clicked on this video because you're wondering if you've had a twin flame activation, or you've read my work on relational spirituality, or you read the article about toxic relationships versus a twin flame activation, is this: if you've had that activation, it is now your responsibility to humanity to walk the path and do your healing work. And that healing work is going to be about a whole heck of a lot of learning about who you really are on a soul level, who you really are psychologically, and who you really are, and who you're supposed to be in service to humanity at this time on this planet. We don't experience these activations very often. These are kind of like advanced level homework assignments. And right now, collectively, we are exhausted and really feel like that we need to take a break from Earth School altogether and go sit by the beach and recover our physical body. And if that's where you are, that should be the focus of your healing. If you have anything physically going on in your body, that is the call. The call to heal the physical body is the priority. But many times we ignore that call, and so a relationship will come in and knock us on our butts so hard that we are forced to learn to heal the stress, the anxiety, and the emotions that are in the physical body. This is a necessary process if we're ever going to come into what they refer to as twin flame union. I've referred to it as the process of the rebalancing of the masculine and feminine energies within the body and at the soul level. So it's not a super sexy process if it's done the right way. It's going to walk you into the darkest night of the soul. But on the other side of it, whether or not you actually ever come into union with that soul in another physical body or not, the healing that is done if you go all the way is worth it. It really is worth it. And I've had many women say this to me before, especially 10 years ago when I was starting this journey and I had no guidance, no direction, and I had no idea what was going on. And everyone kept saying, go to therapy, go see the psychiatrist, go heal your body, it's hormonal, it's all this stuff. And it was, part of it was, the healing of the physical body was necessary. It was. But the amount of trials and tribulations I have gone through in the past 20 years, because it's in my astrology chart to experience this and then teach it, have been nothing but profound activation after activation after activation of both the lights and the dark of relationships, reaching the culmination points of a massive re-experiencing not only of my original activation that had happened a number of years ago, but also seeing that my parents were probably in a twin flame, very messed up situation, and yet there was so much love. And that has been passed down to me, that everything I have ever done, and that anything that my soul and the other part of my souls have been connected to has always been in service of love and humanity. And I think that's also another marker of the type of people who are on this journey, is that no matter what it is that you chose to do in this life, it's connected to the planet Venus. It's a planet of love, beauty, arts, luxury, and service to humanity. There's going to be themes of that, and there's going to be profound themes of commitment of the career or personal life in service of love. So whether it's because someone's walked a yoga path, or whether or not someone has walked the psychology path, or whether or not someone has brought in love in their creative career, there's a commitment to that has happened since this person has been young. And so I want you to sit there and think, do you think you're on a twin flame journey because your ego is involved with believing that you've just had this profound loving connection, or you've had this horrible relationship experience, potentially abusive, and you're just trying to wonder why in this lifetime you're suffering so much? Or have you felt called since you were a tiny little girl or little boy, knowing that there's another soul out there, and that you've believed in soulmates, and that everything you've ever done has been in the service of love? Because it's for those people who've known that they've been on this path since they were little, that have been activated and perhaps have come into union with a high-level soulmate, or a twin flame experience with another person in the past few years. And I do believe, I've reread my book many times and gone on this spiritual awakening journey where my soul's been pulled apart and had to pull it back together shamanically, and go through this and questioning, and to re-experience the abuse that has come in a past life of writing a book whose topic I'm not quite sure, probably about love. Rewrite a book and be ostracized for it, and go through that process all over again, and questioning whether or not the book that I just wrote, whether there was a problem with it. And there is no problem. It's not a New York Times bestseller. It's not going to be. It was my personal experience, and it's there for you if you want to read someone's journey about what it was like prior to having this high level spiritual activation. But regardless, it has been a spiritual shit show the past few years on the other side of this. So we can get caught up in the feeling of love. We get caught up in the journey and the feeling that we're about to meet someone. And it's so intoxicating, and it's so human, and it's so needed on this planet right now. But in order to prepare all of us to be able to sustain that level of vibration in our physical body and to sustain it in an actual human form, we have a lot of work to do. I think collectively we are not ready to sustain most of these relationships in long-term marriages. We are not ready to sustain these relationships in any configuration. For long term, the way that they're meant to be designed. We also are going to be dealing with and continue to deal with this pushing back of commitment issues and the need to do some real healing of relational trauma that blocks us from seeing that this is a legitimate spiritual path. Now, walking the path of Venus is a spiritual path in and of itself, and I honestly think that it's potentially harder than quieting the mind and just being able to transcend above and connect and see enlightenment. I mean, in my personal opinion, what is enlightenment if you haven't done your heart-centered work and come back down from up here back into your heart and then all the way down into your body? I personally don't see a point, but love has been my driving force since I've been on this planet and drawing hearts as a little girl all over the place. So I'm just going to throw all of this out there for contemplation because it is a topic that's coming back up. Twin flame, sacred sexuality, the idea of just relationships in general, energy, how we're managing being human and taking care of ourselves. And then, and how do we balance that with the need to heal the physical body? And many young people, as I did, 10 years ago, it's almost like I had to take a 10-year break to learn how to heal the physical body. And it was because you got to get the old relationship shit out of your body in order to anchor this new thing that wants to come. And that's not a concept that we understand so well in the West. But I think, as just inspiration and encouragement, to understand that to anchor the new vibration of what they're talking about, the Christ consciousness coming from above, and this new, your higher self, and this light that's coming in, you literally cannot walk that path if your physical body is not healthy. So you can go ahead and push back against the vegans. You can go ahead and complain about all kinds of things related to food and the yoga industry and all that kind of stuff. The point being, if you want to experience probably the biggest drive to get through suffering on this planet, just the desire for human love and connection, this time around, you are going to have to do the work to take care of your physical body. That's it. We all are going to be asked to become a heck of a lot physically healthier in order to sustain these kinds of experiences. And I think it's probably the wisest wisdom I have sat with, definitely over the past few months. I continue to remind myself that my body is in better physical shape now than it's ever been. I don't suffer from the anxiety that I used to. I don't have the pain in my body that I used to have. I'm far more flexible now than I've ever been before. That me sitting with that progress in just a 10-year period, to me, is miraculous. To have that gift, something I wished for so much because I was in so much physical pain after a breakup, to see that it's possible as a human to do that much physical healing in such a short period of time, and then also have this activation to experience love and heartbreak over and over and over again, is nothing short of a miracle to me. And I am not one that believed in spirituality or miracles. And certainly when I started my graduate school training, this was not a thing for me. I was a science girl. A science girl who believed in love and then studied it from the science side before I started this crazy spiritual journey. So just keep going. You're not crazy. We're all going to be asked to heal different things. There is no right path. But the activation, should it happen, is a profound invitation from the universe asking if you're ready to walk a spiritual path that has been forgotten for thousands of years. That is quite a gift of our generation, and I don't know many people who've been able to do it at a high level beyond thinking that it's just coming into reunion and having a relationship. Now, honestly, at this point, given things I've experienced, the relationship part is the easy part of this journey. But the other things that come with the spiritual activation and come with the full-blown initiation into your spiritual gifts and come from the memories of learning about what love actually is on a spiritual level, honestly make all the relationship gossip and advice and the stuff that I used to do seem completely pointless. So my wish for you today is just to be open, listen to your own wisdom. If your body needs to heal, your body needs to heal. If you need to travel, I had a client today who's contemplating whether or not she needs to go to Italy, then just go to Italy. I don't know why you need to go to Italy, but you just go to Italy and see what happens. Another client who's not sure which yoga class to go to. It doesn't even matter. Just go to the one that you feel like you need to go to. Another client who wants to know what kind of meditation to do. It's listed in my book, but at this particular point, just go to the one that you feel like going to. We are all going to be guided to where we need to be and to go. And my role is to help you integrate and be a guide, and I can channel wisdom, or we can talk to your higher self or guides, but I don't really freaking know anything more than you do at this particular point in time. I just know that I have walked my path and I was guided and my hand was held until it was time for my teachers to say, and now you need to go on your own. And it was at that point that this activation happened, and it's been a real journey, and also remembering that just because the activation happens doesn't mean that that person is actually your twin flame, because it's an energy. And it is quite possible you've met your twin flame earlier and you were not ready, and that soul knew you were not ready. And that's, I'll close that. That's the other thing that I'm saying, especially for women who carry more of the masculine energy. You probably have met your divine feminine in the body of a man somewhere in your journey, sometime, definitely in the past few years, and you were not ready. They've been ready. I've worked with those men professionally. They've been ready. So again, just a message also for the women listening. Just because your soul is in a woman's body does not mean that you are ready to anchor this higher level experience of love. It doesn't mean that. There's work for all of us to be doing right now if we want those experiences. On top of it, it also does, which I will do a video of a different topic, it does mean the clearing out of trauma and sexual trauma and anything from the sacral chakra and womb healing. And I've been hearing people having some concerns about that being done from a professional enough level in a way that does not completely disorient a client, which I believe we need to be more sensitive to if that client has other responsibilities on the earth plane, like being a mother. So that's my rambling about the twin flame experience. I always encourage you, read what's out there, listen to your own intuition, It is a journey, and it's meant to be difficult. But if it has not launched you into further exploring your spiritual work, then either it is not happening in this lifetime, or that's not what this is. And there are now ways that I do in my practice, and other healers do, where we're able to clear out and examine soul contracts and things like that, and get clarity on what's actually going on. The good news now is that we don't really need to sit and suffer with things so much. But again, you do need to be able to ground into your physical body. You do need to have interest in a meditation practice. This is not work that someone can necessarily do on you for the mental integration. Certainly you can go to healers and things like that and begin to work with the body and not need to know what's going on. But at the level of the mind and the awakening of the intellect, as part of your initiation process, it takes time to understand, and you might have to go through things multiple times to get the full curriculum, if you will, the full lessons about how this whole process works. So enjoy the feelings of love, enjoy the feelings of the sexual attraction, enjoy it all, but understand that if you've received this divine invitation written in gold writing to walk a journey that is beyond anything that you've ever thought was even possible, there's a reason why that invitation has been extended to you. And I really hope that you take it. And if you're that kind of person and you need support, then I'm here to help support you. So I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for listening to the update, and send me your feedback. I'd be interested in hearing what it is that you're going through and what it is that you're thinking about. Ciao.